Hi friends, let's get this paint party started. This is our Valentine's design, and we're going to paint this canvas from start to finish, so you can use either canvas or wood. The tracer and supply list are both under the guides tab here in the craft kit group. Let me know if you are going to be painting with me tonight. Let me get this pulled up here. Alright, so let me know. Say hi if you're painting, if you're watching. Let me know what you're doing. We are going to go ahead and start by tracing this on. So you can always try to freehand this if you want to. We did provide the tracer for you. And what I like to do with the tracers is just kind of cut them out and then tape them together so that it's one piece that fits on the canvas. So you can do that if you want. We're going to use tracing paper or carbon paper to transfer this image from the paper onto the canvas to make it easy for painting. So I have two pieces of carbon paper. I'm just turning them sideways so that they fit the whole canvas. And then I'm going to put my tracer that I've already taped together right on top. Now you can always paint the background first and then go back and trace this onto your surface, but you want to make sure it's really dry because you'll end up picking up black marks where you don't want them. So that's why I like to do it ahead of time. Now I'm going to use a pen. You can use a pencil to trace this on. I just, I don't know, I got in the habit of using a pen and that's just what I keep doing. So I'm going to use a pen and I'm just taking this pen and going along the lines. And this will transfer that to my canvas. So let me know if you're here, let me know if you're painting, let me know if you're just watching. How are y'all doing tonight? Alright, so this is just some prep work to get us started. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, we can cover up anything with paint later on. So I'm just getting a general shape of everything that I want to paint tonight. Oh, Amy, guess you don't feel good enough to paint, huh? You're not feeling well? Alright, so we're going to trace this on. Now, in the original example that I painted and posted, I did not transfer the letters that were inside the hearts. And the reason is because I just wanted you to have the option if you wanted to put names there or, if you wanted to put different quotes. So you can write whatever you want inside the hearts, or you can go ahead and transfer these letters and do it that way. So whatever you want to do. Or you can leave them blank like I did in my example. So I just wanted to show you that you have options there. Hey Elizabeth. Awesome. Sorry you don't feel good, Amy. I've actually been a little under the weather today myself. I don't know what's going on. Alright. So now you can see that the transfer paper has allowed all of that to go onto my canvas. Now, one thing that I am going to do, I forgot to put that circle in the middle. I'll just draw it on. Alright, so one thing I am going to do is trace over this now with a Sharpie. And this is something that we do for some of our classes. And the reason is because we're going to do the background after we do the tracer. And if we were to paint right over this the way it is, we would lose those lines. So I'm going to take a Sharpie and just go right over those lines that I just traced. And that way I can paint right over it and still have those lines to go by. And also, I mean, the paint normally covers this, but also I know that I'm going to be outlining this anyway when I'm done. So if it does end up showing, that is no big deal either. some outline. That's a good idea. That was the kind of the original plan. I just wanted to leave those open so that if you wanted to do names, you could. And I'm sure a lot of you, especially if you're in the Tiered Tray Club, notice that this is very similar to one of your Tiered Tray Club pieces. The mason jar with the little hearts, where you also had that option to put names. So here you can do the names, or you can make it look like the little they're called sweethearts, right? Conversation hearts. That's what they're called, isn't it? I can't remember. I used to love those things, but I don't eat them too much anymore. I did see on the news, though, a couple days ago that they've put out new sayings on those conversation hearts, I guess kind of more with the times. They're like more encouraging sayings in addition to their classics. So I might have to buy a bag just to see if they're different. It looks like we need, yeah, you know, this isn't on the tracer, but I'm going to add this right here. So I'm going to connect this heart right here so that that's not just open in the middle. All right, so we have it all traced on. Now it's just easy painting. And I'm going to tell you, this is one of those paintings where I sat down and worked with it, and it just was not turning out the way I had it in my head. So my original example has so many layers of paint because I kept changing it. You know, I just was having one of those days, and I kept changing and changing. So I'm going to try to do it the same way. But sometimes that's just the way it is, right? Oh, hey Teresa, thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Yep, no problem. You can definitely paint on the replay. All right, so this painting takes lots of colors, obviously, and you can play around with that, mix and match. I'm going to start with red. I'm going to use a little of this bright pink, which isn't even open. Let me get this open real quick. So I'm going to use a little red. This is Candy Pink by Apple Barrel. I might squeeze a little bit of, let's see, I don't think these are the colors I used before, but that's okay because I rarely use the same colors. And that is the reason that I never put specific colors on your supply list. Because you can use similar, you can use different, you can get creative. I don't think anyone should ever get caught up on specifics when it comes to being creative. All right, so I'm just starting with kind of 3 different shades in a similar family, and then I'm going to get a little bit of white. Now what I'm going to be doing with this background, I'm just taking a bigger brush. I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to triple dip, which you may have heard me say before. So I'm going to kind of pick up all of these colors. Okay, I want more pinks than anything, but I'm going to get a little red and a little bit of white. And what I'm going to do is paint in a vertical direction, just straight up and down across the canvas. Now I'm not blending these colors. Okay, I want to see the different shades here. Okay, so you can do different proportions of these colors. All right, Amy, hope you feel better. Get some rest for sure. That's the best way to kick it. All right, I'm just gonna go right over everything here. Some of this will have more pinks, some will have more reds, and some will have more whites, and that's what I want. So this is really similar to how we paint like a barn door or faux wood, but it's with, you know, pinks, reds, and whites instead of browns, grays, and blacks. Again, I'm just making a complete mess of my palette here. Okay, so I'm just literally dipping my brush in all of these colors and then I'm just lightly doing a vertical stroke across the canvas. So I want all of these colors to show. Now, because this is a jar, I also want there to be a little bit of this in the background. So that's why I'm going right over the jar. I want the jar to look transparent. So I want to be able to see the background, but I am going to put a lot more white just where the jar is here in a little bit. See if I've been crafting this week. Am I working on anything? I have so many projects on my list. And one day I'm going to get to them. But we have put out some new kits. I don't know if y'all have seen them yet. They're super fun. So we'll be doing a BOGO vote in the next week or so. And then, what else? Forgot what I was going to say. So we're going to be doing a BOGO vote. We got new kits. And, oh, I was thinking about the free kit for next week. Or not next week, next month. And I think, so March we have St. Patty's Day. So I'm thinking maybe something for that. Do you all decorate for St. Patty's Day? I don't think I'm not much of a big St. Patrick's Day decorator, but it is fun to paint little gnomes or whatever. So we'll probably do something like that. Alright, so anywhere you think you need more or less color, you can just go kind of back over it now and add in a little bit of white or more red, just whatever you want. And you can go ahead and paint the sides as well. Knocking all my paint over. So I want a little bit more white, so I'm just going to brush some white into the background. Nope, not St. Patty. Yeah, I've never really decorated a whole lot for that holiday, but I do think it's fun to do. We've done like string art. What am I trying to say? We've done like string art. What is it? Shamrock. That's what I'm trying to say. And then paint little leprechaun gnomes or something like that. So. Okay, so I think I'm gonna be done with the background here. The all the colors are showing. Let me go ahead and throw some on the edges. Oh, you know what else we're gonna be doing soon is hey Emily, you gonna be painting this weekend, huh? Something else we're going to do soon is our de-stash. So normally we have one in spring and summer. Not spring and summer, spring and fall. And we're going to have to do our spring one a little early because we're making some big changes again this year. And we've just really outgrown our space as far as shipping and production. So we're going to go to a bigger building. So because we're going to be moving, we're going to go ahead and de-stash, and you just would be really surprised. Well, no you wouldn't, because you're crafters, right? So it's just amazing to me, and I'm always still surprised like how much we can accumulate in a short amount of time. It's just insane. So again, we have a ton of stuff to de-stash, and we're going to be doing it fairly quickly. So watch for that. That's coming in the next, or the announcement at least is coming in the next few days, and then we'll do de-stash in a couple weeks. Right now we're just decluttering, trying to go through everything. Okay, so now that I have that done, what I did on my original was I wanted kind of like a frame of red around it, so I'm going to take red and just brush it around the edge of the canvas. So I'm going to use the same brush but dipped just in red. And I'm just going to dip my brush in, and I'm going to go around the edges just like this and just kind of brush into towards the canvas. Now around the corners you might come out a little further. It does not need to be even. You can do it kind of jagged. Oh, we do have the Valentine's Day, the craft day, Hearts and Arts this weekend on Saturday with some of my collaborating friends. So make sure you're signed up for that so you can get in the group and get all the materials and things you need to do that all day crafting. That's this Saturday. So has anybody signed up for that? This got a little harsh, so I'm going to take some of my pink again and just kind of go right down that. I don't want those super jagged edges there. Alright. Alright, I think we're about ready to start painting the jar. Hey Susan! So it's inside the group. Inside this group, if you go up to guides, so if you scroll to the top, it's like about, discussion, guides, features, click guides, and then under guides, I believe the supply list and the tracer are under freebie files. Pretty sure that's because there's tutorials, freebie files, and then we also post the tier tray time lapses. So you can get everything under guides in the freebie files. Oh, for the all-day crafting, the all-day crafting, when you go into that group, which is Creatives Coast to Coast, that's where all of the businesses are, it still should be under guides. So if you go to the guides tab, I'm just letting this dry for a minute. If you go under the guides tab in the Creative Coast to Coast group, I believe the first guide is labeled Hearts and Arts, and then all the businesses that are participating are listed under there with their project and any supply lists or tracers that are needed for that project. So, yep, you're welcome. Alright, good. Elizabeth, you're going to be there. Awesome. Okay, so we'll see. I'm just want this to dry a minute, but what I'm gonna do is actually I'll go ahead and do the red. So I'm going to, while it's drying, I'm just gonna go ahead and paint the ribbon, which is red in the example. I'm gonna get a smaller brush. I already have my red out, so I'm just going to do that real quick. So it's going to be all of the ribbon, and I can still see my lines even though we painted over it, and that's why I did the Sharpie, because it makes it easier to see even after you paint it. So I'm just following the lines from my Sharpie that I did on my tracer, and I'm filling this in red. And of course you could do this any color you want, so you never have to use the same colors. You can make it your own, get creative, match your own decor, whatever you want to do here. Okay, good. Either way, you know, the answer is pretty much the same. I think that's where everybody kind of posts these things is in guides. It's easiest to find it. which actually is a pretty new feature of Facebook, I believe, and it's been great. I love having that guides tab to be able to post materials and things like that. So Facebook's really rolled out some changes in the last year, but then again, what business hasn't, right? We've all, I mean, everybody, not just businesses, we've all had to make a lot of changes. So I guess it should be no surprise that Facebook had to make changes too. All right, I'm getting some more red paint. So the bow is red, and obviously I'm going to go over this once it dries with another coat. But we also have this ribbon here that runs across the lid of the jar. So we want to paint this red as well, or whatever color you're painting your ribbon. Oh, don't forget, this also counts for bingo. So January bingo, I believe the free class is on there. So if you paint this jar before the end of the month, you can count this towards your January bingo card. So do not forget that. Okay, so we have the red done. Let's see, I really want this to be dry before I start hitting it with white, but it really seems to be pretty dry. So I'm going to go ahead and start the jar. And I'm just going to put white over this background that is inside the jar, because that way I should still be able to see kind of the pink background just a little bit. Let's see what happens here. Like I said, this example was one of those that I just kept changing and painting over and trying to get it the way I had it in my head. So when you do that many layers and changes, it's hard to know whether it's going to come out the same the second time around. Alright, so I'm just going to, yeah, see, it's not completely white. I have that little bit of pink background that's still going to show through, and that's okay, because I want this to look like a see-through jar. So I'm just taking a smaller flat brush and kind of going along the edges of my Sharpie lines. Anybody have snow right now? Talking about snow again in the weather report, but they keep saying that, and I haven't seen any yet, so we'll see if we actually get snow this time. I just don't know about it. It's like we keep like kind of running in the middle of where the snow's falling. I haven't had a good snow in a long time, it seems like. I can't remember the last one. Snow doesn't bother me as long as I don't have to get out in it. But if I have to get out in it, it's not my favorite. When is Valentine's Day? So today's what, the 26th? So what, about 2 weeks or so? Anybody do anything special? Two snow days, Monday and Tuesday, huh? So did you have a lot of snow? Or was it one of those things where they kind of predicted a lot and then everything shut down and then you didn't get much? Seems like that's more the case in our area this year. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and outline all these little hearts. and then fill in with my brush. Bad roads, bad drivers. Yeah, that is true. Get enough of the bad drivers with good roads, right? So I used to not mind driving no matter what the weather was, but I've just gotten to a point, I don't know if I'm just getting older or what, but I've just gotten to a point where I don't enjoy driving anymore. It just seems like there's so much traffic anymore, and like construction everywhere. Everything, the roads are always changing. I'm like, I don't know. I've just gotten to a point where I just prefer not. But I definitely don't like driving in the snow now, weather, even rain, because people are crazy, like you said. Bad roads, bad drivers. I have a teen driver now, so I think I'm even like hyper aware of all of the craziness on the roads. Alright, so you can see that this is not completely, whited out, and that's the way I want it. So if you wanted to go back over it with more white once that dries and have more of a solid white background, you could definitely do that. I'm going to leave it as is because I want to be able to see some of that background through the jar. I'm going to get this little section up in here, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the lid gray. You can do whatever color you want. I'm going to just... Okay, so we've had some technical difficulties tonight, so I'm going to redo the second half of this painting, and we are not live for this. So this is where we left off on the first live, and I'm just going to go ahead and start working on filling in the gray and the hearts. So basically the whole jar is white. We have our red ribbon that may or may not need another coat, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this jar with a light gray. You could do a metallic silver or any color you wanted on the jar lid, but I'm going to keep it as close to a regular mason jar or ball jar as possible. I'm going to do the bottom of the lid the same color, so right around all of this red. You can pick up a little bit of white if you want to and kind of brush that in as well, which I will probably go ahead and do. So I've painted it gray and get a little white on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of brush that in here and there. So just like that, and our lid is done, other than some highlights, which we'll do later on. And then I just have to decide the colors of my heart. So I have lots of different colors out. I think I'm going to stick to the ones that we did in the live because I've just covered over those. But I'm going to do this top little half heart here in a pale yellow. So it's kind of like a banana Laffy Taffy color. It's exactly what it reminds me of. And I clearly have candy on the mind tonight, I guess because that is what we were painting. Fill this in. Now, this probably won't need a second coat because I've painted over the whole thing, or I have the whole base painted white. But if you're just painting over the pink background with your colors, you may need to do a second coat as well. Let's see, what else did we do? Purple. I think we have this one as a purple one. And you can do all of your hearts a different color, or you can kind of, you know, pick 2 or 3 colors and alternate. So again, totally up to you how you want this to look when you're done. And we are going to be outlining this as well. So it looks like that purple is definitely going to need another coat. I'm going to do this one in coral. This is Flamingo Coral by Apple Barrel, which is one of my favorite colors. Actually, I've been using this on a lot of things for a long time. Coral is actually one of my favorite colors ever. In fact, my wedding colors were coral and ivory, and I think that will always be my favorite combination of colors. So I am a big coral fan. Alright, I think we did this one in Mint Chocolate Chip, which is by Deco Art, and it's a new, well, I don't know, it's new to Deco Art, but it's new to me. I discovered it not too long ago, and I need to start using it more because I love it. It is so pretty. I just kind of forget about it because it's not one that I've always used. Isn't that cute though? I just love this color. You know, you could, if you wanted, instead of keeping these as like the conversation candies, you could do different designs on these hearts. So you could do, what was I gonna say, like stripes, polka dots, chevron. You could kind of do different designs rather than conversation hearts. And I don't know if I said this in the first part of the video when we were when live was working, but the tracer has some of the phrases that you can use if you want to trace those on, or you can do like a names of kids or grandkids. You can put whatever letters you want to put in there. So if I can find a brush for this one. Try this one. I'm going to do this in like a lime green color. I think this is Limeade by Apple Barrel, maybe. Can't remember. We have this one in a pod, so I'm not sure what color it is. I can't remember what colors we used. So I think I used the candy pink Oh, and apricot. I think that's what we used. So. And this is actually the pink that I used in the background, but you can see it's a lot brighter when it's not dipped with those other colors too. So in the background, it doesn't look quite as bright as it does here because it's pure instead of mixed with other colors. So gotta have a pink conversation heart, right? And then apricot, which is like a orange yellow color. Alright, so I think that this is dry enough. I can go ahead and do another coat on these super transparent colors. I could have mixed this with white and done more of a lavender. This is like a really dark purple, but it doesn't cover very well. Alright, the green definitely needs another coat. Let's just do second coats for all. Well, I picked up some purple in that one, but I think it's okay. I actually think the yellow is okay, which usually would be the one that needs another coat. Let's see, pink. And apricot. So while these are drying, I'm going to go ahead and work on my bow. Actually, it really needs another coat too. We'll just do that. So another coat of red. Alright, once that dries, we'll go ahead and do the little dots. I'm going to work on some outlining, and this is going to be easier if you have a paint pen. So like Posca paint pens are my favorite for outlining. We do have those in our Amazon shop on our website, but mine are packed up from a class earlier this week, so I'm just going to use a liner brush. Let me see if I can find one that I like. So something very small and pointed is going to be good for the outlining of the jar. I didn't like the one I used on the live, so let me try something different. I always buy liner brushes and then I lose them. I don't know where they go. Okay, so I'm just going to dip in black. We're going to use very light pressure when we're doing outlines. I am going to kind of put a little bit of black right through the middle here to show kind of those separation lines in the jar. That did not go the way I wanted. This brush is worse than the one I used earlier. Let's see. Alright, so we're just gonna, I'm gonna get this a little bit wet, and that might help with the outline. So light pressure, and you're just going over your Sharpie lines is all you're doing for this. I'm going to take a brush with some gray and kind of blend that in a little bit. Alright, I can't outline the red yet because it's still really wet. So I'm going to work on the mason jar. I like to rotate my canvas. This is why I do not paint on easels. Although I did get, I think it was from Five Below, like a little tabletop easel, but it doesn't sit straight up. It's kind of like just like a tilted, so it's basically flat but kind of tilted towards you. And I need to remember to pull that out when I'm doing these videos because it's really handy. It was only like $5 because it was at Five Below. I don't know if you have one of those, but I really messed that up there. Let's see if I can. Try the baby wipe. lot thicker than I wanted it to be right here, so I'll probably just take a brush and put some white over top of it. Alright, I'm going to take a round pointed brush and put dots on the bow, and these are just white random dots. You could do stripes, you could do whatever pattern you wanted. You could leave it the way it is, paint it multicolors. So get creative. This is fun art, not fine art. So just put your own little flair into it. You can also do this with the end of your brush, like the opposite end. If you wanted to, you could dip that in paint and dab it on there. I'm going to add some white highlights to each of the hearts. And then we'll outline those as well. So it's just kind of random. Don't think too hard about where you're putting them. And I'm also going to do a little bit of highlight here. Middle. So again, don't overthink it. Once this is dry, we want to put like a translucent white layer over top of them. But if we do that while it's wet, we're going to end up with a rainbow of colors spread across the whole canvas. So we don't want that. We'll work on outlining up here. Again, this is just everywhere we had, Sharpie. Ooh, epic. Try this and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to take a big flat brush. I'm going to dip it in the white paint. So I did get a little wet. I'm going to dip it in the white paint, and then I'm going to rub off the excess. So I want basically a dry brush, okay? So we're going to dry brush across the top of these hearts to get kind of a translucent jar look, because they're inside the jar, right? Not outside. And that's exactly what I figured would happen since I'm doing this too quick. Just go right across and brush that on while it's super dry. And now it looks like they're inside the jar instead of out. Just touch that up a little bit. Okay, and then we're just going to do our outline around the heart, so we'll be done. This would make a cute door hanger too, I think. Maybe we should cut some. We're done. So I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but hopefully now that we have it all in one place, you'll be able to watch and paint. We'll see y'all next month in the group for the February free class, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.